What's up, you guys? Welcome to today's video. My mom is here. This is her. She made me.
Hi.
So you've been watching my channel for a long time. Since I started. She was my first subscriber. So I asked you guys on Instagram what questions you had for her, and you guys asked great ones. We practiced because she's like, I'm not gonna agree to it unless I know the questions first, which seems fair.
And I'm camera shy, so this is...
She's never been on camera before. Be nice to her or I will block you aggressively. No, they're super supportive. Okay, so without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. Does your mom have or want tattoos?
I have a tattoo and I regret it, so no, I don't want any more.
Mom, let's get you blasted. Let's just do a whole sleeve, some neck tattoos.
Let's not say we did.
Come on, let's go. Oh, how'd you meet my dad?
I met him at a bar.
Then what happened?
It took some time to work on him.
What does that mean?
Well, basically, I was in a complicated relationship that was edging out anyway.
Oh, you cheated?
No. I did, but I wasn't the first one to cheat, if that, for what it's worth.
Oh shit, okay. So, then you dated my dad. You wanna tell us some more about that?
I did date your dad, and he was great. He was a little, radio personnel.
Radio, yeah, so my dad does radio. Yeah.
We talked about mostly sports, which at that time I hated. Come around a lot about that, by the way.
I love sports. I love football. I'm a Steelers fan.
Well, I have to watch football on Thanksgiving. That's a given.
Yeah, yeah. America's team, aka Reese's team, plays. So we'll be watching football. What's your favorite thing about me?
Everything.
Everything. See, she's such a mom answer.
I love your strength.
Aww.
Your strength is incredible. It really is. You came from down there to where you are now, and I couldn't be more proud.
She thought that she wouldn't be able to do this. She's doing great already. Like, I guess the questions are gonna get harder.
Of course.
Does pineapple belong on pizza?
In my opinion, no.
Why?
I can drink pineapple juice, I can eat pineapple, just not on pizza.
Well,
I'll pass
I'm
on
adopted. No one asked that. I just asked you that.
You're only adopted when you act up, so.
Okay, cool. What were your thoughts when you found out I was pregnant with Micah?
I was ecstatic. At the same time, I was very nervous because you were in addiction, and I didn't know but what Micah would have been born addicted.
Yeah.
So I was very scared about that. And I'll never forget the day I got the phone call or message, whatever it was, that she had been born. She was perfectly healthy, of course. First time Grandma got all emotional. Michael gets excited and runs through the house, Uncle me!
My brother.
Same as Ben did when you were born.
Yeah, my uncle.
Yeah.
I was the first on my dad's side.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I was the first niece, I guess, so yeah, very cool. A lot of people want to know about your opinion on having a baby in prison. Like, what was your opinion, or your thoughts surrounding that situation?
I was scared for a few different reasons. One, I felt because I didn't know they weren't gonna let you like raise her for the first year in prison. So I was a little scared because I thought, man, there's other inmates and just the horror stories in prison in general.
I never told her horror stories, and I never told her that my bunkie had capital murder. She's like, you're not at the place with the people with the murder, right? And I'm like, no, I'm
We
not.
watched too much Shawshank Redemption.
It's a wonderful movie.
It is.
It's a heartfelt one.
It is.
What was one thing you could have changed about Jessica's childhood? So I guess that means, like, if you could change something about my childhood, what would it be?
Well, had I known then the mistakes that I made were mistakes, I would have changed all those. Those wouldn't have even been made.
Just changed my whole life. What was it like having a daughter in prison?
It was tough, but my heart was there with you the whole time. It's like my heart was right, not in the next cell, but right in the cell with you.
Yeah.
When you'd call, I'd get all ecstatic, all emotional. I think we both did.
Especially after Micah was born. So it took me like a couple of weeks to get back to the unit because I was so like not okay after that happened. I had severe postpartum depression and PTSD, and I would just call her and I would just cry. I don't even think I said anything on the phone really, but I was just so broken and I didn't know what to do, and all I wanted was for you to be there.
I tried so hard.
Yeah, so I did see someone ask, why didn't you take Micah?
I did try. I tried to get down there. That wasn't working out so well. Financially, I mean.
Because we poor.
Yeah, unfortunately.
She's trying to say that in a better way. Money. It cost a lot of money to even travel, let alone stay in a different state that you don't live in, fight a case, a DHS case, jump through all of these hoops. It just wasn't possible, you know? But yeah, she tried. Does your past ever affect you and your mom's relationship today? That's a good one.
I don't think it does, because I think we both have that strength where we can, okay, this happened.
Yeah.
We learn from it. We look forward. We move on.
Yeah. And
I like that strength.
Yeah, I think our relationship's better now than it ever was.
A whole lot.
Not that we had a horrible relationship ever.
Right.
You know? Did you ever think Jess would get clean? I showered. Thank you.
I was hoping. That hope was always there, but at the same time I was scared.
Yeah.
I really was.
I think fear is so heavy that it's difficult to see anything besides that fear when you're fearing something. Dad said that too in his interview, and I'll link it on the card up here, over here. I always forget which place it is, over here maybe. But he said the same thing, that he was hopeful, always hopeful, but scared. What was Jessica like as a baby / little kid?
She was the best baby. I mean, the best. I mean, she wouldn't cry to be bad when she was a baby, obviously. Easiest kid I ever raised. Easiest.
Boom.
Potty trained herself. Nobody wants to believe that, but that's okay.
Listen, that's the crap y'all say when I'm like, how do I potty train these kids? Y'all are like, I don't know, you potty trained yourself. Just love them. Just love them. And I'm like, how do I do this? Y'all parents and your secrets. How long did it take for you to regain trust for Jessica because of her past?
Not long at all.
0 minutes.
I mean, there was like that gray area, for lack of a better term, where I was scared to death at first when I knew you were getting out. I'm like, oh no. And knowing the availability of what you were using, I was really scared that temptation was going to be there.
Oh, it was there.
I was really scared.
It was there. It was difficult.
But when I saw you going above and beyond your requirements even, I was like, yes.
Yeah. It was a long road. It was a long journey. And I don't want anyone to ever see my life now and think that the path to here was easy. The path to here was like walking in a blackout. You know, like it was hard. There were so many obstacles in my way, and I'm so much better now, but that first year out of prison was so hard. Mentally, physically, financially. I was literally starving for a year. Like it was very difficult. When did you know Jess was starting to get into trouble?
That was pretty much early on, but I don't think you were using H then. I think you were still experimenting with the alcohol and the green, for lack of a better way to word it.
The devil's lettuce.
Yeah, the devil's lettuce.
Why do they call it that?
I don't know why they called it that.
Weird. Okay, so yeah, sorry to interrupt you. Alcohol.
You're good. So I feared more. I didn't realize, it took a long time before I actually realized, oh my God, she's doing the H. And then when I was informed, I think, was it you that told me? I forget, but anyway.
I doubt it.
A drug is a drug is a drug. That's my mindset even today. But still, it scared me. It really did.
So when did you notice? It was with alcohol?
I noticed it most with the alcohol. Again, I've never touched H, so I didn't know at that time what symptoms to use. I've since been educated a lot on that, so I know what to look for.
What age was I when you noticed?
You were very young. You were 13. Very young.
We stan Mama Kent.
Mama Kent.
Mama Kent. Do you like Jess's prison food?
I can't say as I do. It's not horrible, But would I want to live on that? No.
Listen, all of that is fantastic. Was Jess a good kid in school?
With exception to all the detention and rushing through her schoolwork, yeah. Other than that.
Yeah, set aside all the detention. She was great.
Outside of that.
So, no.
Okay, so no, you weren't.
She's trying to be really nice. How was I as a teenager?
A handful. Definitely kept me on my toes, kept me going. I was always wondering, where is she?
Where am I?
And you were always at friends.
I would always sneak out. I did not want to be at home. I didn't want to be in school. So I would go to school, and your boyfriend at the time would walk me to school. Mm-hmm. He'd walk me in one door and I'd go right out the back door and just leave. Like,
I did the same.
In 7th grade? Like, who does that in 7th grade? There was even a time where I think you got that call. I walked in smoking a cigarette, and I walked all the way through the school smoking a cigarette and went to my locker, grabbed something, and then walked out. The teachers are like, hey, put that out. Jessica, put that out. And I'm just like ignoring them and walking. I was probably listening to a Slim Shady LP, and I thought it was so cool. Can you talk about like fights that I would get in?
I wasn't there when you got into a lot of the physical altercations, but your attitude, I knew you got into a lot.
Yeah. So what was my attitude like as a teenager?
I felt like you were, I don't want to say this, but at the same time.
Say it.
Holier than thou, kind of. Oh, sorry.
No, I want you to say exactly how I was.
You're very pretty, which I knew.
It's not pretty.
Well, I'm mom, so I say you were
Whatever.
beautiful, and you still are.
Continue.
At any rate, but I would never see you come home, per se, with, like, bruises or anything, unless you hid them, and if you did that, you hid them well, because I never saw a lot of you bruises.
From fights?
From fights, yeah.
You just got the calls?
Yeah.
From the school?
Yep, add that one to the list. Mm-hmm. The list.
I know. My first, like, fight wasn't even that big of a fight, but I got in a lot of trouble for it, and that just really made me mad. You'll read about it in my autobiography. But yeah, and the fights just got progressively worse, and I was jumped, and it was a lot of stuff, but I had a bad attitude. I treated people like crap, and I was aggressive and violent and mean, and the substances that I was taking just inflamed that a lot worse. My temperament, though, back then, how would you describe my temperament?
I thought you had a lot of built-up anger. I didn't quite know how to help you through or with that. At that time. You have a brother that still, to this day, has a lot of built-up anger. So I don't know if that's a genetic thing or...
I feel like our temperament is a genetic thing, you know?
Yeah.
I was angry. I walked around with a chip on my shoulder. When I say that, I mean that.
Yeah.
I mean that. Are you proud of her?
Absolutely.
How do you stay so fit? I have her metabolism.
Yes.
I don't eat healthy at all, actually. Like, none. I try, but I also like cupcakes, so... Cupcakes and tacos. What's the worst thing Jess has done as a child? This should be
worst
good.
thing.
The worst thing.
That one's hard to answer. It really is.
You can answer it in bullet points. It's fine.
She was a drug dealer. I knew she shoplifted. Well, that and doing the drugs.
Doing the drugs.
Yeah.
Doing the drugs. Not to make light of it, but yeah, I got involved with that very early on, and that was just it. I had made my decision on how I was gonna live my life, and no one was gonna tell me anything other than that. So how do you feel about YouTube as my career?
I think it's great because I see all the people you've helped, helping people get to where you are from where you were, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
And I see it going up a lot.
I love this YouTube channel,
It's
and
awesome.
I've poured my heart out on this channel, and yeah. What do you wish you knew before having kids?
I wish I knew, like, kids don't come with instruction tabs on their toes. I wish I had a set of instructions in front of me and to know how to deal with, okay, your kid does this, so you do that. That doesn't happen.
Yeah.
I wish I knew those things and how to deal with them.
Do you view addiction differently now because of my journey?
I do. I know you were strong enough, and I know how hard it was for you to struggle with that. I have a tough time with the recovering addict word. That term just, I don't know.
It bothers you?
It does.
Recovering
really
addict? Because you think I'm good. I'm done. I've recovered?
Yeah. I view you that way anyway.
Yeah. The way that I have learned about addiction is that I'm in remission, and I just have to keep in check my mental health to stay healthy, because if my mental health is not healthy, the rest of my life won't be healthy. It is a lifelong process. Did you ever buy her anything with drug money?
I think you did, but I don't remember what those items were.
Any and everything from the age of 13 to 23 was drug money. What's your zodiac sign?
Taurus.
So she's stubborn.
Yep, very.
That's where I get it from. How many kids do you have?
4.
And cats that are also her children. She has 4 cats too.
5.
Oh, I don't count the mean one.
You don't have to count that one.
She can go straight to hell. She's got a cat that's so mean that she attacks me every time I go there, and
for no reason.
If you're watching, cat. How did you handle my drug addiction, and was it hard for you?
It was very difficult, and I didn't know how to handle it.
Yeah.
Not knowing at that time anything about H or the other. I didn't know how to advise. I could only advise what I knew from my own recovery.
I kind of want to share a story. The last Thanksgiving and Christmas that I spent in New York in 2010, what was that like for you?
I was just going about doing the whole holiday thing, not realizing why you kept going out getting sick. I didn't find this out until afterward, but I knew you seemed to sleep a lot, and I was very concerned about that.
So my dealer had taken a vacation and left me with a ton of stuff that I should have made a lot of money on, but I was at her house for the holidays and I brought it there. That was a rule that I had never compromised before that, but that world is crazy and I was very, very sick. So me and my boyfriend at the time were nodding out and falling asleep, and I remember Mike, or my brother, getting really mad that I was there and using and that I'm ruining the holidays and you were upset, and I'm just like, what? I'm here. I showed up. I came. I'm here. Like,
I know you love that pumpkin roll.
Oh, I'll eat all that food. That's never changed. But I really thought that I was doing something because I showed up for the holidays, and you should just be grateful that I'm here for the holidays. Like, bitch, what? No, you're breaking all of your family members' hearts, and you're dragging them through the freaking mud with you, and you don't see that when you're in your addiction. You're like, I showed up. You're welcome. Like, what? What did you think of Magazine Crew?
I didn't know what to think. I thought you just went door to door selling magazines. I had no idea the whole gist of it. And I thought at that time that everybody in that was all a bunch of druggies. I'm sorry to say.
Hopped up on whoop chicken.
Okay.
My crew, there are a lot of crews that are bad. You've seen the interviews with Matt. Mm-hmm. So did that give you like more of an insight on the world behind it? Like the culture?
With the Mag crew, yeah. It really did.
Yeah. So Matt's crew was like super clean. Like no one was using chemicals.
That he know of.
No, they really weren't.
Okay.
Like they really, truly were not. They had, he ran his crew the right way. And that was like, everyone in the industry knew that. Everyone knew that he ran a clean hotel. No one was on drugs. If you were caught, you were fired immediately. And that's how Matt ran it. My crew was different. We did use, and a lot of us used on the road. As long as you had your business, then my boss kind of turned a blind eye. He did fire me before though for using and not being, not being functional, I guess. But did you ever think Jess would win her DHS case?
I didn't think she would. Having been through experiences with a whole nother state, I really doubted that. They expect you to basically do everything they want.
Jump through hoops.
And it's a lot of hoops, a lot of red tape. And Arkansas was a lot different, of course, than New York. Yeah,
so that was always scary. From a legal standpoint, from foster care standpoint, it was very difficult because I didn't know like how hard they would make it for me. But I did it, and I have full custody, and it worked out. But yeah. What is my best trait as an adult?
Your best trait as an adult is what an amazing mom you are.
Oh, okay, good.
It really is.
I'm like the world's okayest mom. I try. I'm tired.
You're the best.
I love those kids.
And it shows.
Thoughts on Jess doing YouTube? Have they changed over time? I know you said that you like YouTube, but...
YouTube's awesome. I think your YouTubes have somewhat changed. Like you're so much better today, for example, than from day one.
I was like, I went to prison for drugs and you shouldn't go to prison for drugs and don't do drugs, okay? So please know, like, if you think I have changed, I've just gotten better at telling my story in front of a camera. This is not a natural thing. What advice can you give parents who are dealing with their child's addiction?
As hard as it is the biggest key I feel is patience. Be patient. Show them love, but don't enable. Enabling is the worst you can do. Trust me, I've done it.
Do you feel any guilt because of my addiction?
Absolutely. Every day.
Now, let me be perfectly clear. Addiction is not a parenting failure. Addiction is a complex disease of the mind, and it is very difficult to overcome that. It's not a parenting flaw. There are genetic factors, environmental factors, my mental health, decision-making skills. There's so many reasons. I drank with and partied with people on the weekends that didn't need that on Monday. And I'm like, how'd you do that? I didn't understand it. I didn't understand that why I can't drink alcohol, but other people can drink alcohol and not feel the need to drink alcohol the next day. I didn't understand that. But it's because our brains work differently. My brain is not hardwired to be able to enjoy alcohol and just drink and take shots on a Friday and then not want shots on Saturday. If I do shots on Friday, guess what? We're doing shots Saturday, Sunday, Monday, and you're gonna be like, Jess, the party's over. And I'm gonna be like, the fuck it is. I'm gonna be like Scott Disick at 11 o'clock in the morning, like, woo! Chloe's all like, there's no party here, Scott, go to sleep. That's me. Like, I don't party until I pass out. I party till I'm homeless. Those are two different people, you know? So it's because our brains are all hardwired differently. That's why there are so many different pathways to long-term recovery, and what works for you might not work for me and vice versa. So yeah. Did you ever think about doing an intervention for Jessica?
I didn't even know anything about intervention at that point. I honestly didn't. I did, however, think about taking you to drug counseling. Had it worked where I was going to take you, it would have been amazing, but I didn't feel at that point that was an option.
So just to jump in, when I was 13, I had just turned 13, I was sneaking out, getting in fights, drinking, partying, and she felt like she was failing, which is shitty. But as a parent, that's what you feel, right?
Yeah,
I'm not putting words in your mouth.
Exactly. Okay. I did.
And at that point, I moved in with my dad, and she thought that he could give me, you know, more stability and that I would do better there, but you take you everywhere you go, and I wasn't healed, and I found the same people, same kind of people. So would it be correct in assuming that you thought it was because of who I was hanging out with? You didn't think it was me?
I honestly did blame everyone you were hanging with, yes.
Yeah, it was me.
Was that mom passing the buck, I wonder?
I think we don't want to believe it's as bad as it is.
Yeah.
We don't want to think our kid's the bad influence and our kid is the one that is struggling with addiction. We want to think like, oh, she fell into the wrong crowd. And I never want people to think I'm making excuses. You know, it really was me. And when I moved to a different town, guess what? I found the same people and did the same things and partied, the same kind of people. Those are the people I wanted to hang out with. The people that were skipping school and drinking Jack Daniels in study hall, and like, those were my people. What was your reaction when Jessica moved to Arkansas? Did she even tell you?
You didn't tell me right away. You called me from there, and I'm like, I usually did not, and to this day I don't answer numbers I do not know. Knowing that my kids are scattered all over God's green earth, of course I'm gonna answer that call. And when it was you and you said where you were, I'm like, I was shocked, but at the same time I wasn't, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, so I went on the run in 2011 and I was on Magazine Crew, and I was in Vegas, and I decided to go to Arkansas to help out a friend of mine, a friend that you knew growing up. Mm-hmm. You knew his dad too, Robbie.
Yeah.
His dad passed away, but you were friends with his dad when they lived in New York, and then they moved to Arkansas. So I went down there to help him, and you know, I got addicted to a whole different substance down there, as you guys know, but I would call you at 2 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah. I was a night owl then though, so it didn't bother me.
Can you tell stories about that?
I remember getting the calls, you'd be at Rob's. I didn't really make the connection who Rob was, right away anyway, and I just thought Rob's dad's house at that point was just basically a party house you were living at.
Yeah.
That was my impression anyway.
I do have one memory of I was at someone's house playing Guitar Hero on my iPod Touch, smoking a cigarette, talking to you on the phone. It's 2 o'clock in the morning, and like, I was being surveilled at that time. Cops were surveilling me, and I knew that, and I wanted to tell you that, but I'm like, she's gonna think I'm crazy. Don't tell her. And I was talking a million miles an hour. I don't even know if you could understand me.
Oh yeah, you always talk fast, so.
Yeah, so on meth, it's just no good.
Yeah.
Did any of Jess's personality traits as a child tip you off that she might get into trouble?
From the get-go. Even as a newborn, you were very stubborn. Things had to be your way or not at all.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh, not at all.
I don't think I personally see any negative traits in my kids right now. They're 8 and 4.
Yeah.
So they're angels.
They are, in Grandma's eyes.
All right, guys, I'm gonna end today's video here. Please throw my mom some love in the comment section down below. Let her know she did amazing for her first YouTube video ever. And I will see you in the next one.